welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. Welcome to the End of the World podcast. We're still here, still ongoing. Everton might not be playing, but Toffee Blues are still bringing you content, bringing you things to listen to take your mind off the...
keeping you sane.
Taking your mind off the you-know-what, let's be honest. No matches to talk about over the weekend. As this is recording on Monday, we should be playing the Merseyside derby right now, but thankfully we're not. Came at the right time for us, just for our, I'm actually less stressed now with a global pandemic than I am with the idea of playing a derby where Liverpool could win the title. So
I think we can all second that as Everton fans.
Yeah, we must be the only people who were actually happy to hear the football called off for now. I don't think I'll be happy next week, but just this one would have been fine. First segment is Jordan Pickford, or number 2 goalkeeper to be more specific. Like, do we need another number 2 goalkeeper in the summer to put pressure on Jordan Pickford? Obviously, we've got Martin Stecklenburg at the club, whose contract expires in the summer. No guarantee that his contract will be extended. He's obviously coming towards the end of his career now. He's at a decent age. João Virginia's at the club. He recently made the bench in the last match, but he definitely needs a loan deal. He was on loan this season, but was recalled because basically lack of playing time. I still think that the best thing for him, and I think the club will probably concur, is to go out and get another loan deal, one where he plays and he cuts his teeth a little bit. We did bring a number 2 in, obviously, last summer, a new number 2 to put pressure on Jordan Pickford in youngest Lossl, but for whatever reason, it hasn't seemed to have panned out so far for Lossl. He came into the squad, he was playing a little bit in pre-season, and then he hasn't played a competitive game for the club, and even in the cup competitions, anything like that. And even though Pickford's had some ropey form in the last, several months, certain games where he's come under a lot of criticism from supporters and the media, Lossl didn't seem to be, anywhere near, displacing him or even getting a game ahead of him. And obviously the managerial position changing hasn't really helped him in that regard. But he's gone back out on loan to Huddersfield to get some games, with the idea basically being at that time that, he needs to go to have a chance of going to the Euros. Obviously, situations change a lot with that now. But what do you think? I mean, what would you do about this goalkeeper position in the summer? Be it the number 2, or even if it's, do we buy a new number 1 and let Jordan Pickford fight it out and be the number 2? Like, what's your thoughts on it?
It's a very interesting dilemma, I think, because I'm not sure if you've been reading the general football news, but I think one of the bosses of Huddersfield said that they most likely won't be making Lossell's loan permanent, so he could be back in the first team squad next season, even if he is a number 3 even. So it's a very interesting. I think Stecklenburg's gone this summer. I think, like I say, Virginia's got to go on loan. Whether Lossell's here or not, I do think we need another goalkeeper. The question for me is he going to upstage Pickford, or is he going to just be another bench warmer? What would you go with? Obviously, Pickford's form's very divisive, I'd say, at the moment, but some people are sticking by him and some have written him off. What sort of side of the fence are you on?
I'd like a new first choice goalkeeper in my ideal world. I don't think Pickford's anywhere near good enough at the minute. I think he's been poor for pretty much the whole season, with flashes of the odd good performance listed amongst a bad season. I don't think it will happen. I don't think I want it to happen. I think it should happen, but will it? I doubt it. I don't think Pickford's anywhere near danger of being replaced. Because a lot of money's been invested in him. He's a young player. His stock's low at the minute, so it's not as if anyone's going to come in and buy him. I mean, you never know, but I'd be surprised. It depends who's available. Goalkeeper's one of the hardest positions to buy for at the minute, because how many top goalkeepers are there around? There's only a couple, and even the top ones, make mistakes. But this season, I mean, I don't know if you saw. I don't know the first thing about XG, but did you see that XG graph that was on Twitter about Pickford?
I haven't seen it, to be honest, but does it sort of indicate?
Long story short, he was the most underperforming keeper of the entire league. The shots he faced, to how many went in, and so on. He's having a really poor season, and I can't, forgive me, I don't know his name, but I can't pronounce his name rather. The goalkeeper from Lazio, we've been tentatively linked with him in the press, but I just don't think, with other positions in the squad that need money investing in it and attention and paid to it, central midfield, right wing, right back, I don't see goalkeeper being high on the list of priorities for the manager or Marcel Brands, because it's money's tight, the financial fair play is tight. So I think we will probably bring in a number 2 keeper, possibly even a free transfer. And I know there's a couple, you've spoke about off camera, which I'm going to ask you about now, of potential number 2 goalkeepers who could come in on a free transfer or a low fee to put pressure on Pickford, because it has happened before. I remember Nigel Martin come in when
he was only supposed to be a backup for Richard Wright, and he upstaged him.
Yeah, he was. Richard Wright was bought by David Moyes.
And actually, it's funny you should say that, because I'm comparing Pickford to Richard Wright a lot lately.
Yeah, well,
I think he's a very good shot stopper, like you say. He has the odd brilliant game, but he's full of errors.
Well, yeah, and then Nigel Martin came in as like an experienced understudy and got his chance and then never let go of it because he was such a superior player to him. So there's always a chance that happened. But have you got any, what names would you like to see brought in?
I think it's very interesting that you say that, because I was suggesting maybe an out of contract world class keeper who's maybe past his best but still better than Pickford. I'm not sure what there is out there at the moment. I'm not sure, obviously. There's a couple I can think of, maybe Serie A. Obviously, it's a bit far-fetched, but he's probably in his 40s now, but Buffon's still probably an upgrade on friggin' Pickford. And obviously, he's worked under Ancelotti as well. I think it was Ancelotti who brought him to Juventus in the first place, so obviously he's probably still got a close tie there, but there's probably a few others. I'm not sure how old's Handanovic. I know he's still very well rated at Inter, isn't he?
Yeah, who was the? And I think I know who it was, but I don't think you said the name of the first one.
Which one?
The first one you were talking about, the Juventus one. You didn't say the name. I don't think.
Gigi Buffon.
Yeah, I knew who it was, but I thought if anyone who doesn't know who you're talking about, let's just say the name. I mean, imagine Buffon. I mean, I don't care how old he is. I'd have him all day.
That's what I mean, but that was the thing. Nigel Martin, in his prime, was a world-class keeper. It doesn't matter how old you are. I think as a goalkeeper, you don't really lose it unless you start gaining weight like Neville Southall does.
Yeah.
You don't really... I don't think you lose it that badly.
I mean... that'd be brilliant, but I mean, other people have said that we weren't the first ones to recommend it, but Ben Foster's had a contract at Watford at the end of the season. I think he'd be a decent shout to come in and understudy Pickford and, well, not understudy him so much as mentor him, because he's got the experience of his career. He's been an England player himself. But I don't know. I think we're getting to the point soon where Pickford's probably only got a make or break season next season for him, and then
he has to be replaced properly.
He has to be replaced, or I know he signed a new deal recently, but I think the manager, if he has another season next season like he's had this year, I can't see Ancelotti sticking with him. I think he'll look to bring in a new younger keeper, a new fresher keeper. It's just the squad. When Pickford's on song, he can be one of our best players. He can earn us points with the saves he can make in a game, but he can also cost us points with the silly mistakes he makes. Now, he would say, well, I correct those mistakes straight after, but it's like, we don't want that erratic form from a keeper, and we don't want to. I personally don't want a keeper who responds to criticism by, basically saying I shouldn't be criticised. Like, he responds so bullishly to criticism, and not in a sort of, I know I'm, not in a sort of,
I need to do better kind of way. It's more of a,
sort of feels
how
like,
dare you criticise me?
Yeah, he doesn't seem to take it on board. He still makes the mistakes, and
As the thing is, he needs a bit of his ego knocking out of him.
Yeah, I mean, it might come with experience, but who knows? He's still a quality keeper based on ability. And when you look at there's not a wealth of top keepers around. So you think, well, you might go out and replace him and get someone who's not as good as him, and that is a risk. But I'd like to see more from Pickford. But I think a better number two, a genuine threat to him,
might
be the ticket.
The rocket up his backside that he needs, maybe.
Yeah, if when he makes a mistake, he thinks I might not play next week. I think that would do him the world of good, because at the minute there's no danger.
No one's troubling him.
His head would have to be half hanging off for him not to play at this point. But yeah, I think the club needs to address that. But they'll address it by bringing in a number two, and not a number one. I think at this stage.
Yeah, I think Foster's a good suggestion that I think you came up with, but is there anyone else you can think of across Europe? I'm just going to actually, while we're on here, I might just pop online and just have a little look to see if who's going on a free.
Well, I'm sure the Napoli keeper will get linked with us at some point, because let's be honest, every single Napoli player has been linked to us.
Who is the Napoli keeper?
Why is
it's Ospina.
Is it?
Yeah, well, Yerry Mina goes on the limo with David Ospina, so yeah, he's definitely signing for us, him.
Yeah, well, there's always Donnarumma. Not really realistic, but let's be honest, he's a Mino Raiola player, so you never know.
How's he getting on at AC Milan now? Do the fans still hate him after that transfer request, or?
I don't know. They had like banners about him and everything, didn't they? So I can't imagine that.
They were proper kicking off, but now obviously it's all settled down. He's clearly still getting a game, so.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we're talking nonsense. When you look around the league, even the top teams, as our lovable neighbours showed the other day, haven't all got quality second choice keepers. So I think expecting Everton to go out and have two quality keepers might be a bit of a fantasy wish. But yeah, I think Ben Foster could be the perfect fit, unless Watford re-sign him, because I can't imagine him wanting to uproot if he's getting an offered a new deal there. But he's in the last year of his contract, and it would be a step up. It'd be a step up in terms of club size, but it'd be a step backwards in terms of at his age, does he want to understudy or does he want to play as much as he can?
I mean, he's in his mid-30s, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not old as in like he's finished, but he's old as in like he may want to play. He may say, well, I've only got 2 or 3 years left, so I want to make sure I'm playing as much as possible. Whereas a young keeper, maybe someone we've not had come up yet, might be, well, you're going to get your chance. Just stick at it.
I'm just having a little look through the list now, see who's about. Another interesting one who's in his mid-30s is actually an ex-Everton understudy of the past, John Ruddy. Do you reckon he's of the level we need, or?
Probably not. I liked John Ruddy the first time we had him.
He had a belter of a game once. Yeah, I think he played about twice.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think he was back up. Go ahead, what?
That was it, go on.
Yeah, he was back up to the. I think it was that season Nigel Martin got injured and Richard Wright was awful, so we got to go. He was all right, and then obviously we got Tim Howard, so he was the number 2 to him for a long time. So we never really. I think he only played about twice in his entire 5 years he was here.
I don't really see him as at the level to test Pickford. He'd just be another Stecklenberg game, someone who's got a long career and experience, but he's not really going to threaten to start any games. Whereas Ben Foster, I mean, I thought Lossl would do this, because although he'd been at Huddersfield, Huddersfield went down, he was a first choice keeper in the Premier League the season before. So I thought, well, if you bring him in, then he's not going to be out of his depth terrible. He's going to be a Premier League keeper with a different defence in front of him. But obviously it hasn't panned out that way so far for Lossl. It may still do. He may come back and go, right, well, I'm ready now. But I think someone like a Foster, if he'd be willing to come in as an understudy at first or as a number 2, I think he'd be the type of player who, if he did come in, Pickford might have a job getting it back off him, a la Nigel Martin and Richard Wright.
Yeah, well, I'm just having a little look through. There's not many big-name goalkeepers who are available for free this summer. The only decent one I can see is Walter Benitez from Nice, but I can't see him leaving being a first choice in his prime, if you know what I mean. So,
yeah.
like
How
I say,
old is he?
He's 27.
Why has he had a
Well,
contract?
it's interesting you should say that. I'm not actually sure why.
We need Jerry for this information. We're just spouting off dead end like questions. Why is that? Don't know. Where's he? Don't know.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's not
guys.
it's not ideal. It's just literally that we're doing our research like in the middle of the show. I mean, we should probably be a bit more clued up, but I don't really focus. I don't really watch a lot of football outside of the Premier League these days, so sometimes you just got to think. But yeah, Gianluigi Buffon's out of contract at the age of 42 this summer, in case you're interested, guys.
Oh, I mean, I'd have him as the goalkeeping coach. Never mind the goalkeeper. Just to get him in the club. How good would that be?
He's just a belter, isn't he? I'd have him in a heartbeat, but in any capacity.
Carlo can take him to Bootle Strand.
Oh my God, Carlo and Gianluigi Buffon in Brutal Strand is just like...
Get some salt and pepper shumai from the butchers. It's unreal.
Love it.
Right, we'll leave it there then. We basically we both agree that we think
Gianluigi Buffon is needed at Everton in any capacity.
Yeah, a new keeper is on the agenda for this summer. Likely to be a number 2 to replace Stecklenberg and maybe even replace Lossl, depending on how things go with him. We both like Gianluigi Buffon for non-footballing reasons mostly, but but there's also other options like like Ben Foster on a free, or even why not? It's on a rumour.
Yeah.
Ring up our mate, and just say, do us another favour there.
Mino Fantastico, Mino Magnifico.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe and watch the following segment, which we've got coming up, which is a Remember the Name segment, a throwback to remember the short Everton career of Gerard Deulofeu. All the information for myself and James will be in the description. Follow us on Twitter, follow the Toffee Blues on Twitter. There's obviously not going to be much match content at the minute, given the way things are, but we'll still have plenty to show plenty for you to listen.
Absolutely.
To. Plenty for you to consume while you're in quarantine and in isolation. So, we've got your back. But thanks very much for watching. Take it easy.
See you later.